If your heart aches for nature's lost melodies, you're not alone. The songs of birds have been a part of human culture and natural symphonies for millennia. Their calls and songs are not just sounds, they are the voices of the wild, the echoes of ecosystems that have thrived for ages. But today, many of these voices have been silenced forever. The loss of bird species due to habitat destruction is a tragedy that affects us all, whether we realize it or not. It's a silent crisis unfolding in forests, wetlands and grasslands around the world. Each lost species represents a thread torn from the intricate tapestry of life, a melody that will never be heard again. Let's take a moment to reflect on the beauty and diversity of these lost birds and understand the reasons behind their extinction. If you find yourself captivated by the sight of a bird in flight or the sound of its song, you're a true bird lover. Birdwatching is more than a hobby. It's a way to connect with nature, to witness the wonders of the avian world. But for many bird enthusiasts, the joy of birdwatching is tinged with sadness, knowing that some species they long to see are no longer with us. The extinction of bird species is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the impact of human activities on the natural world. As we explore the stories of these lost birds, let's remember the importance of preserving the habitats that remain and the role we can play in protecting the birds that still grace our skies. Let's uncover the top 10 birds we lost to habitat destruction. Each of these species had its own unique place in the world, its own role in the ecosystem. Their loss is not just a loss for bird lovers, but for the planet as a whole. Habitat destruction is one of the leading causes of extinction, driven by human activities such as deforestation, agriculture, urbanization, and pollution. When habitats are destroyed, the birds that depend on them have nowhere to go. They lose their homes, their food sources, and their breeding grounds. The impact is devastating, leading to declines in bird populations and ultimately extinction. As we delve into the stories of these lost birds, let's consider the broader implications of habitat destruction and the urgent need for conservation efforts. Once, the sky was filled with the fluttering of passenger pigeons, now gone due to relentless deforestation and hunting. These birds were once among the most numerous in North America, with flocks so large they could darken the sky for hours. But their abundance made them a target for hunters, and their habitats were destroyed as forests were cleared for agriculture and development. By the early 20th century, the passenger pigeon was extinct. Their story is a poignant reminder of how quickly a species can be driven to extinction when human activities go unchecked. The loss of the passenger pigeon is a lesson in the importance of sustainable practices and the need to protect the habitats that support wildlife. The majestic ivory-billed woodpecker vanished as old-growth forests in the US were logged to oblivion. This striking bird, with its distinctive black and white plumage and bright red crest, was once a symbol of the wild, untamed forests of the southeastern United States. But as these forests were cut down for timber and agriculture, the ivory-billed woodpecker lost its habitat. Despite efforts to find and protect any remaining individuals, the species is now considered extinct. The loss of the ivory-billed woodpecker highlights the importance of preserving old-growth forests, which are home to many unique and irreplaceable species. It also underscores the need for responsible forestry practices that balance human needs with the health of the ecosystem. In Brazil, the vibrant blue Spix's macaw lost its battle to agriculture and urban sprawl. This stunning parrot, with its bright blue feathers and playful personality, was once found in the gallery forests along the Rio São Francisco. But as these forests were cleared for agriculture and development, the Spix's macaw's habitat was destroyed. Efforts to breed and reintroduce the species have been made, but the wild population is now extinct. The story of the Spix's macaw is a stark reminder of the impact of habitat destruction on biodiversity. It also highlights the importance of protecting and restoring habitats to ensure the survival of endangered species. Madagascar's Aleotra grebe, once gliding through Lake Aleotra, succumbed to invasive species and habitat degradation. This small, elusive bird was adapted to life on the water with its specialized feet and diving abilities. But as invasive species were introduced to Lake Aleotra and the lake's habitat was degraded by human activities, the Aleotra grebe's population declined. By the early 21st century, the species was declared extinct. The loss of the Aleotra grebe is a reminder of the complex interactions between species and their environments and the ways in which human activities can disrupt these interactions. It also underscores the need for careful management of invasive species and the protection of critical habitats. The Hawaiian honeycreeper pu'uli fell victim to agriculture and deforestation. This unique bird, with its distinctive black mask and curved bill, was once found in the forests of Maui. But as these forests were cleared for agriculture and development, the pu'uli's habitat was destroyed. Despite efforts to find and protect any remaining individuals, the species is now considered extinct. The loss of the pu'uli highlights the importance of preserving native habitats and the need for conservation efforts to protect Hawaii's unique and diverse bird species. It also underscores the impact of habitat destruction on island ecosystems, which are particularly vulnerable to human activities. High-altitude lakes in Colombia were once home to the Colombian grebe, lost due to pollution and habitat destruction. This small diving bird was adapted to life in the cold, clear waters of the Andean lakes. But as these lakes were polluted by agricultural runoff and other human activities, the Colombian grebe's habitat was degraded. By the late 20th century, the species was declared extinct. The loss of the Colombian grebe is a reminder of the impact of pollution on freshwater ecosystems and the need for sustainable agricultural practices. It also highlights the importance of protecting high-altitude habitats, which are home to many unique and specialized species. Imagine a world where the New Zealand greater short-tailed bat soared. Habitat destruction and predators erased it by the 1960s. This unique bat, which was adapted to life on the ground as well as in the air, was once found in the forests of New Zealand. But as these forests were cleared for agriculture and development, and as introduced predators such as rats and cats preyed on the bats, the population declined. By the mid-20th century, the species was declared extinct. The loss of the New Zealand greater short-tailed bat highlights the impact of habitat destruction and introduced species on native wildlife. It also underscores the need for careful management of introduced species and the protection of native habitats. The Tecopa pupfish, a desert dweller, was driven to extinction by water diversions and urban development. This small, hardy fish was adapted to life in the hot, mineral-rich springs of the Mojave Desert, but as these springs were diverted for agricultural and urban use, the Tecopa pupfish's habitat was destroyed. By the late 20th century, the species was declared extinct. The loss of the Tecopa pupfish is a reminder of the impact of water management practices on desert ecosystems and the need for sustainable water use. It also highlights the importance of protecting and restoring desert habitats, which are home to many unique and specialized species. Florida's dusky seaside sparrow's song faded as wetlands were drained for agriculture. This small, dark bird was adapted to life in the salt marshes of the Atlantic coast. But as these marshes were drained for agricultural and urban development, the dusky seaside sparrow's habitat was destroyed. Despite efforts to find and protect any remaining individuals, the species is now considered extinct. The loss of the dusky seaside sparrow highlights the importance of preserving wetland habitats and the need for sustainable land use practices. It also underscores the impact of habitat destruction on coastal ecosystems, which are particularly vulnerable to human activities. The Hawaiian rail, a unique island bird, was lost to agriculture, urbanization, and predators by the early 20th century. This small, flightless bird was adapted to life in the dense vegetation of the Hawaiian Islands. But as these habitats were cleared for agriculture and urban development, and as introduced predators such as rats and cats preyed on the birds, the population declined. By the early 20th century, the species was declared extinct. The loss of the Hawaiian rail highlights the impact of habitat destruction and introduced species on island ecosystems. It also underscores the need for careful management of introduced species and the protection of native habitats. These losses remind us of the urgent need for conservation. The extinction of these bird species is a stark reminder of the impact of human activities on the natural world. But it's not too late to make a difference. Conservation efforts around the world are working to protect and restore habitats, to save endangered species, and to ensure that the voices of the wild continue to be heard. By supporting these efforts, we can help to protect the birds that still grace our skies and ensure that future generations can enjoy the beauty and diversity of the avian world. To protect our feathered friends, we must act now. Each of us can play a role in conservation, whether by supporting conservation organizations, participating in habitat restoration projects, or simply making more sustainable choices in our daily lives. By working together, we can help to protect the habitats that birds depend on and ensure that their songs continue to fill the air. The loss of these bird species is a tragedy, but it's also a call to action. Let's honor their memory by working to protect the birds that remain, and by ensuring that their habitats are preserved for future generations. Together we can make a difference and ensure that the voices of the wild continue to be heard.